What is good, beautiful people? This is your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. As you guys can see, I have a very, very special and illustrious guest, Symone Stanley, a.k.a. Symone with the Sports. What's going on, my sister? How you feeling?
I'm good. How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain. Like I said to you before, I'm super glad, super grateful for you to be able to take the time out your busy schedule just to, check in with me and, come on the channel. And, I had to pick your brain about, what's been going on with these Eagles. Speaking of these Philadelphia Eagles, I gotta ask you, I gotta pick your brain. The Philadelphia Eagles have made so many moves this offseason. They brought in an influx of talent. They have a second full year with this. They have a second year with this new coaching staff. Uh, I got to ask you, what are some of your overall thoughts right now when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles offseason? And then we'll get into some nuance.
I think we have, and I think I say this pretty much every offseason. Not every offseason, but I say this a lot of offseason. But this was definitely the best offseason that I can remember in my lifetime. And I hate to be dramatic, but it is. I mean, going into the season, I made several videos literally about like my off-season wish list, and all of those came true. Like, what my biggest things I said was, one, I do not want to draft a wide receiver. I said we could draft a wide receiver in the later rounds, but I do not want to draft a wide receiver with our early picks. One, we didn't do that. And two, I said I want us to obtain a big body wideout, a veteran, big body, already star receiver via trade or free agency. Ding, 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 ding. That came true. Only because I keep saying we don't do good developing receivers. So it's no point of drafting one of those receivers in the first round. We got lucky with Devonta Smith because he was already NFL ready. He didn't need any development. I didn't trust us drafting one of these Chris Olaves, Garrett Wilsons, and then us not developing them. What do? We traded for A.J. Brown. I said, too, I wanted to focus on defense in this draft. What did we do? Jordan Davis. I said, please give me NAKOBE Dean or Devin Lloyd, NAKOBE Dean or Devin Lloyd, NAKOBE Dean or Devin Lloyd. And what happened? We got freaking NAKOBE Dean. Plus, I said, we need to get a lockdown corner. What happened? James Bradberry. Also, I said, too, we need to address the tight end room. And we did. We got Grant Calcaterra. And then, well, so all of that happened for me, which was amazing. I love that. I love it. I love it. The only thing that didn't get addressed was their freaking Barnett. But, hey.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. When I saw he got re-signed, because remember, he got re-signed so early in the offseason, we were scratching our heads like, hold on, wait, we got so many other things to worry about. Why is he getting the bag first?
That had me worried. That honestly had me worried. Like, why is this our first priority? And then we locked up Anthony Harris, too. So I'm like, even before the draft, we're bringing Anthony Harris back and Derek Barnett. What kind of bull is this? But then, Howie Roseman, look, I never, now, I've talked a lot of trash, talked a lot of all that kind of stuff on my channel. But one thing I can honestly not remember, I've never talked bad about Howie Roseman. Yeah, you can go back in my Rolodex and look. I've never trash talked Howie Roseman. Now, I've trash talked Nick Sirianni, Jonathan Gannon.
Right.
Obviously Carson Wentz, but I honestly do not ever think I've said anything bad about Howie Roseman because I've never thought of Howie Roseman as a bad GM, honestly.
Right.
And then now, of course, he's the man of the offseason.
Exactly. And it's interesting because, I've always given Howie, you see, like, all right, born and raised, I was born and raised in Philly, I see everything firsthand, right? And, one thing I can say, I've always been hard on Howie Roseman, but I've always known who he is. He's a numbers guy. He's a guy that's really good with maneuvering contracts and trade negotiations and, moving through free agency and, all the and being a cap finesser, you know what I mean? Fleecing teams, like that's a cap dog. Exactly. That's exactly how he moves. His weakness has always been talent evaluation. Now, these past 2 seasons, you can if you even want to consider the 2018 year, that draft class that had Dallas Goedert, Josh Sweat, AVONTE, MADDOX, Jeremy Latta, Howie Roseman is starting to turn a page when it comes to evaluating the talent. Now you can say, well, maybe he's starting to listen to his scouts more. Okay, maybe he's starting to actually listen to some other voices. Maybe he's starting to listen to the football guys. You can make whatever point you want to make. But my question to you is Howie Roseman evolving as a GM in front of our very eyes?
Yeah, he's probably, like I said, like you said too, Howie's strengths have always been being a capologist, being the one who's gonna, finesse a trade so we can trade up and get Carson Wentz, so we can trade up and get Devonta Smith. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, I guess I feel like he's definitely, based off this season, yes, I feel like this is the only off season where he's really like top to bottom, not even just the draft, but the free agency too, really addressed every need that we had. Like, and it's not impossible. It could have been done these other off seasons. Like, we always get like one big piece or whatever, but we keep neglecting other pieces. And I think us signing James Bradberry, like getting that cornerback piece, just really is what took Howie Roseman over the edge. Because in these last two drafts, I was very much concerned about the fact, like, why are we waiting so long to draft a cornerback when in the last draft, the cornerback was one of our biggest needs as well. Like, why are we waiting so long to draft a cornerback? This season, I was nervous about that too. When we went in and we still didn't get a cornerback, I was nervous. So, but once we signed Bradberry, I feel like this is definitely the time where he definitely not just listens to the fans, because, I mean, we know what we're talking about. We know, like, it's not like we just saying, go trade. I mean, some people did want to trade for Tyreek Hill. But it's not like we're asking for outlandish things. I think this is the time when he actually looked up and down, evaluated what we needed, and went and got everything. Like, and you don't have to make a big splash move to do that. I mean, of course, A.J. Brown was a big splash move, but you don't have to have a splashy move to do that, to address needs. I think this is the first offseason where he really went and addressed every single need.
Right. And everything didn't seem, the most beautiful thing about him addressing the needs was none of his decisions seemed hasty or forced, right? Everything really appeared calculated. He was patient throughout the off season. He was patient until he got his star wide receiver in AJ Brown. He was patient, during draft night, allowing the board to come to him, right? Allowing the board to flow in his favor. And, he's made so many significant and various moves, to make this team better on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. He's fortified the linebacker room in ways that I didn't ever think would be possible for the Philadelphia.
Right. Like,
so what's your thoughts on that?
On what, the linebacker room specifically, or
the linebacker room and just how he addressed, because we didn't see that coming.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when I was like doing video, I mean, we know we needed a oomph at freaking edge, pretty much every level. We needed an oomph at edge. We needed an oomph at linebacker. We needed a big oomph at safety and a big oomph at cornerback. So when I'm making these videos talking about our needs and I'm talking about linebacker, now, of course, we went into the draft. I went into the draft thinking NAKOBE Dean was a first-round talent. I honestly don't even remember where Devin Lloyd went. Devin Lloyd being a first-round talent, those are two guys I was heavily interested in. And so many people are like, oh, we're not getting a linebacker. Howie Roseman doesn't do linebackers. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, hold on, wait. It's 2022. Times are changing. I said, y'all, it's a new year. Like, maybe Howie Roseman evolved. I'm saying this before the draft. And what happens? Boom. Third pick. What happens? We freaking get NAKOBE Dean, a huge steal. Somebody who, like I said, was projected to be a round talent. Right. And not just that. We signed Kaiser White even before the draft. So now TJ Edwards, who was our best linebacker last season, is now linebacker 3. So Howie Roseman has changed, y'all. He's put a big emphasis this offseason on the linebacker room, and it just cannot be denied. I mean, we got Hassan Reddick as well, but more like a pass rusher. But still, at the same time, the LBs are different, and Howie Roseman is different. And I think that's going to make up for, the lack of talent at safety.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. Shout out to Jersey Boy with the $2 super chat. Thank you, my man, for supporting the channel and the live stream. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to Symone with the Sports. The link is down below in the description. So make sure you guys smash the like button on her content, subscribe to her, hit that notification bell, do whatever you got to do to make sure you don't miss Symone with the Sports and any of her content. But also, Jersey Boy had a question. He says, what are realistic expectations for this season? Symone, you want to take that away?
First of all, what's up, Jersey Boy, my man? Listen, I'm tired of people saying, oh, the Eagles can win the division. Oh, no. The Eagles can make the playoffs. Making the playoffs is an expectation every year. That's a given. Y'all, and especially since the NFC East is so much, the NFC is so much weaker than it was. Like, making the playoffs now in the NFC should be much easier. All that talent done moved over to the AFC. So, last season, we took a stank team, a team that started off stank, that was not running the ball, and a quarterback that half the fan base and coaching staff was not convinced on, and we took that team to playoffs. Going to the playoffs is a given. Our goal is, one, to not only win the NFC East, which should not be hard, but two, we need to win a playoff game this season. So that's where the meter moves. Like last season, just making it to the playoffs was like, wow, like the way we started. We had a tough schedule last season. Even though our team and our coaching staff was new and didn't figure stuff out early, we cannot deny that our schedule was tough last season for any team. So
it was front loaded for sure.
Definitely. So the fact that we even made the playoffs, still great. But this season, we need to win a playoff game. We should be winning the NFC East, meaning we should have a higher seeding, and we should be playing one of them lower teams. And like I said, the NFC is not as dangerous as it was last season. So the expectations is win a playoff game. And I hate that that's an expectation, like win a playoff game. But that's the expectation. Next season, Super Bowl, period.
You know what? I couldn't really agree. I couldn't really agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. Shout out to Jersey Boy with the $2 super chat. You know, this team, there are, you know, the expectations to continue to rise, right? You know, not just amongst the team, but when you take it to a deeper level, expectations amongst individuals such as Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni as the head coach, Jonathan Gannon as the defensive coordinator. And when you think about those three guys specifically, they have, at this point in particular, they have everything they should need to be successful.
Jalen Hurts and Jonathan Gannon they're on their, I guess you would say, hot seat. So both of them guys, Jonathan Gannon got away with a lot of excuses last season. Oh, he didn't have the linebackers, he didn't have the edge rushers, he didn't have the corners to fit his scheme. But now he's got all that. Jalen Hurts, somebody who I have defended to the cows come home. Now, don't make me look silly, because now you have the run game. You have chemistry with your coaching staff. You're now going into the second season with the same coaching staff, with the same playbook. You got the offensive line. You got the run game. You got 2 wide receivers now. So, yeah, both of those guys there's no excuses for them at the end of this season or midway through the season, because changes will have to be made if the team is not meeting expectations.
Would you say there's equal pressure on those guys, or one person has slightly more pressure than the other?
Well, I think Jalen Hurts has. Now, I'm not going to say it's fair pressure, but Jalen Hurts definitely has way more pressure on him than Jonathan Gannon. I feel like Jonathan Gannon can hide more if he's not doing well. Like, he can try to blame stuff on, like, oh, this player, or maybe poor tackling, or try to blame something on, like, you know, some guys not reading routes right. Like, he can hide more. You know what I mean? Jalen Hurts, once that ball snap under them bright lights and you out there,
you're spitting right now.
There's nowhere Jalen Hurts can hide. You know what I'm saying? There's nowhere he can hide. There's nobody we can say, oh, like, because last year I said, okay, he doesn't have the run game. You know what I'm saying? We're not running the ball. Who looks successful throwing the ball that many times? You know what I mean? Then we got the run going. And you know what? That made him look better. But then also he still struggled. I said he doesn't have a big body wideout. He doesn't have a true traditional X receiver. You know what I mean? A lot of the really good, great quarterbacks have that. Now he has that. He got the offensive line, he got the run game, he got the RPO, plus he got the big body receiver, his best friend. So there's just no excuses there.
No, you're right. The most interesting thing about bringing in a guy like AJ Brown, right? What it does is, what makes him elite, in my humble opinion, is that, or what makes a wide receiver elite is not just the ability to catch the ball in traffic, but also the ability to clean up for your quarterback's mistakes. Those are the top tier wide receivers. Those that make every ball look easy, make every catch look the same. Those that have that wide catch radius like Stretch Armstrong. You get what I mean? So, what do you anticipate, or what do you think fans should expect from that wide receiver duo of AJ Brown, Devontae Smith? Then, if you want to throw in Quez Watkins to make it a trio, because if you think about what they each bring to the table, AJ Brown, that big body wide receiver with a wide catch radius, catch a 50-50 ball, can break almost any tackle, can also be used in a blocking game, a running game. And then you have a Devontae Smith, a guy who's lanky, but he's a route running technician, a perfectionist with his footwork, and has probably the most technique out of every wide receiver we probably have. Just from catching sideline catches, hands like glue, reliable. Averages 15 plus yards, 14 plus yards of reception, just like AJ Brown. Then you got Quez Watkins, that barn burner, a guy that can take the top off of your defense, a guy that's someone that you have to pay attention to no matter what. So, what do you think? What can we expect from those three guys? Together. In the 2022 season.
All of those guys. Okay, so when you say what to expect, are you saying like stat wise or like?
So I guess whatever you make of it, right? Because we can throw stats out there all we want. That's the easy part. I think more so what can each piece do for the other piece? How can each piece make the other person's job easier? You know what I mean?
Well, one, double teams. AJ Brown, there's nobody you can leave open, and then you can even throw Dallas Goedert in there too. There's nobody you can leave open anymore on this team. Devonta Smith is a double team attractor in himself. AJ Brown, we know, is a guy that attracts a lot of double teams, and even Dallas Goedert sometimes. But now we have all three of those guys, plus somebody like Quez, and then two, Zach Pascal as well. So if you do want to cover AJ, if you do want to cover Devonta Smith, we just have a depth of weapons now on offense that those guys are all going to be able to benefit from each other now being on the team. The only thing is, and it's not necessarily a negative, but we do have to get the passing game going more, because now that we have all of those receivers, which is a good thing to have, those guys want to and need to get fed. So we know last season we were a running team. We were really run heavy, and that worked for us, until it did. But we're going to have to throw the ball. Jalen Hurts going to have to throw the ball way more than he did last season. He's going to have to throw the ball well. Not saying that he can't or won't, but that's going to be the expectation, because when you bring in somebody like AJ Brown and you now have somebody like Devonta Smith, AJ Brown is going to be taking, targets and whatever away from Devonta Smith, and Devonta Smith was already dissatisfied with his targets last season, even without AJ Brown there. So now you have AJ Brown, who's going to be sharing targets with Devonta Smith, and like I said, you got Quez as well in the slot, and Dallas Goedert too. Jalen, and not necessarily it's on Jalen, but we got to make sure all of those guys are happy and all of those guys are getting fed, because there's no point of having all of those guys if we're not going to utilize them right. So that's the only thing. We're going to have to be prepared to air it. Jalen's going to have to be prepared to air that ball out this season. And there should be no problem, because like I said, somebody is going to be open between the way Devonta Smith got open last season, and now you got somebody like AJ Brown, who they have to completely respect on the field with you. There's no reason why all those guys can't have a really good season.
All right. Two more questions for you, and then we can get out of here. So I got to pick your brain on the Miles Sanders situation. Miles Sanders is in a very, very unique situation right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. So a situation he hasn't been in yet, because he's still in his rookie deal. He's in a contract year right now, and he's due to get paid by someone, right? Mm-hmm. And he's had, I guess, for lack of better terms, an underwhelming past 2 seasons, mainly due to health. What's your outlook on Miles Sanders this season? And do you honestly think there's a scenario where he does return for the 2023 season?
I don't think we're giving Miles Sanders a bag, and I don't want us to give Miles Sanders a bag. Now, if we offer him less, I'm not sure like what his max amount would be, but I'm sure we're going to offer him something, and he might think he can get more somewhere else. And if he does and can, then thank you for your services. You're forever bleeding green. Appreciate for what you've done. But in my world where SymoneWithTheSports is the GM, I do not pay running backs. I don't. Because now Miles Sanders is a great running back. And like I said, he has been a victim to not only injuries, but also being underutilized. In Doug's last tenure, he was underutilizing him in the beginning of last season. When we weren't running the ball, we were underutilizing him. So not only was he victim to injuries, he was also victim to bad play calling as well. So he did draw a short straw, but Miles is just not, we cannot use Miles enough. For somebody, a running back who's getting paid big bucks, in my opinion, has to be a running back who is a 3-down running back.
A Derrick Henry type. A Derrick Henry type, right? A guy that's used like literally he is the offense.
Exactly. Christian McCaffrey type. And those guys are unicorns. They don't come around all the time. So when they do, like a guy like Christian McCaffrey, who's not only using the running game, but passing game as well. Same with Derrick Henry. Those are the guys you lock up money-wise. But a Miles Sanders, I'm sorry, he's a dime a dozen running back, in my opinion. He has some good plays and some elusiveness and some, shake somebody off and take offness. But he has not shown he is a big-ticket running back. And like I said, running backs come every draft. We have running backs in the stable who's ready to come out too. I'm really excited to see what Kennedy Brooks can do. That guy had 3 1,000-yard seasons in college. And plus 2, when we have such a good offensive line, you don't need a $90 million running back behind Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson. You can get a freaking cheap rookie running back behind.
Listen, we could run back there and get some yards. Like
our offensive line is too good to be having a $90 million running back behind it. When you have an offensive line that good, that's when you have the luxury of having some cheap backs back there. Because I'm sorry, I've never played football, but the running back position, come on now, when you got a really good offensive line, it doesn't take that much skill set. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's why most of these teams are operating from a running back by committee, situation.
I wouldn't have paid Zeke Elliott what they paid Zeke. So it's not even.
Don't worry, they regret it. Don't worry, they regret it already.
Right.
They regret it. Speaking of the Cowboys,
you got Tony Pollard out there doing what Zeke's doing. So why you making $90 million next to me and I'm doing what you're doing? Like I don't pay running backs in my world. I don't. So
I can't even argue with that logic. As a matter of fact, the players understand that because most of the players now, they all the kids coming up these days, they want to play wide receiver now, and that's where all the money going. So exactly, they know what's up. They know exactly what's up. So my final question, you say you had the Eagles, winning the NFC East. Now, I need to know what's your. And I know not everyone does this, but I want to know if you've thought about it. What is your record prediction for the Philadelphia Eagles? And also, out of all the games on the schedule, I'm not sure how much you've looked at the schedule, but what's your record prediction for the Eagles? And on top of that, what are the litmus test games? What are the games that you need to see us win to know that okay, we're legit?
Okay. I'm an optimist, so I'm always guessing high than we ever do. But I'm going to say we're going to win 13 games.
Okay.
Just because of how easy our schedule is. Now, I have us losing 2 division games. Y'all figure that out amongst yourselves. And then 2 non-division games. But I think one of the litmus test games is going to definitely be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I say that because Pittsburgh, they've had underwhelming talent at least last year. I don't want to say they had an underwhelming season, but they have been struggling with talent. They've had a lot of injuries. They had a lot of turnover. They have a brand new quarterback this season. They've got Mitch Trubisky, and then they drafted Kenny Pickett as well. So first season without Ben Roethlisberger. And I think Ben last year really hurt the Steelers. He hurt them way more than he helped them. I think if they had made an earlier change at quarterback, they would have been better off. So who knows? Kenny Pickett or whatever might hit the ground running. But anyways, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think we definitely have them out talent-wise on paper, but that's going to definitely be a game where it's going to be a litmus test because that's one we should win on paper, but it's going to come down to coaching. I think that's one of the toughest coaches on our schedule is going to be Mike Tomlin. And it's going to be interesting to see what a Jonathan Gannon going to do, what a Nick Sirianni going to do going against a team like that who's been fundamentally sound my whole lifetime. So I think that's going to be a litmus test game. Another litmus test game, maybe the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to be on the road for that game. I don't think we've ever beat the Cardinals on the road. So that's going to be a tough game. They have a lot of tough talent, but at the same time, I don't know because Kyler Murray still has his drama with the team. Who knows if they're going to have that ironed out. And D-Hop, did he get suspended like 12 games or something?
Like 6 games. So he's going to be out when we play. He's going to be out when we play though.
So yeah, let me scratch that. That's still a litmus test because that should be a game we should win. So that is a litmus test. And then I guess the Tennessee Titans as well, a team that was going deep in supposedly in the AFC last season, still has a lot of talent. Defensively, that's going to be a good game to see Jonathan Gannon against. They did get Treylon Burks. I know they lost to A.J. Brown, but they did get Treylon Burks, and that's a guy who I wanted on the Philadelphia Eagles if we didn't end up trading for somebody like A.J. Brown. Treylon Burks was somebody I wanted. So I think the Steelers, Titans, and Cards are going to be those litmus test games. But then also at the same time, the sorry teams are really the litmus test games because those are the games we should be going in and winning. We shouldn't be dropping any of those sorry team games.
Absolutely. I feel you 100%. Symone, you have been spectacular on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time out. You've given a lot of insight. You've actually made me think about something in terms of just the games that we should gauge our team on, and that's that Steelers matchup. That arguably may be the toughest game coaching wise, and I didn't think about that. That is a very good point, and I appreciate you for that. But again, thank you so much for coming onto the channel. Your words have truly permeated through the live chat, and everybody is, going crazy right now. And, I'm just, I'm grateful at the end of the day because we're all trying to, grow in this sports media game. We're all trying to learn from each other. And, you're somebody that you're someone that I watch closely. Like I watch your grind. I watch how you move around, and, it's truly something to marvel at, and it's truly inspirational. So I want you to, of course, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, I want you to truly understand, you killing it right now. Even if you don't think you are, you killing it right now. And again, I appreciate you for coming on the channel. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe to Symone with the Sports. The link is down below in the description. You guys have been amazing. Symone, any final words before we get out of here?
I guess just fly, Eagles fly.
Exactly. Y'all heard it here first, y'all. Symone with the Sports is and was on Chalk It Up Sports with your boy Tone DeShields II, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And we're out of here, y'all.